You feel that your life is a monotonous routine, that each day is a repetition of the previous one, without challenges, without evolution, without a true purpose. Nietzsche believed that mediocrity is not a destiny, but a choice. And in this video, you will discover how to escape it. Are you ready to stop surviving and start mastering your own life? Nietzsche said, "That which does not kill me makes me stronger." Mediocrity is when we settle for merely surviving, avoiding challenges, and stifling all our potential. It is living in the comfort zone, where we do just enough to meet expectations, but never truly stand out or innovate. Many of us fall into mediocrity because it is easy to stay in the familiar, resist change, and avoid taking risks. We may fear failure, lack motivation, or simply not know how to go beyond our current limits. Nietzsche, one of the most influential philosophers of the 19th century, challenged conformism and traditional morality, advocating for the cultivation of a critical spirit and the will to power. Born in 1844, Nietzsche stood out for his profound reflections on existence, morality, art, and personal overcoming. His philosophy questions values and proposes the creation of new meanings for life, grounded in authenticity and self-overcoming. In works like The Spoke Zarathustra and Beyond Good and Evil, he invites us to transcend mediocrity through the affirmation of life and the pursuit of self-mastery. In this video, we explore how to stop settling for mediocrity and break free according to Nietzsche's philosophy. Become who you are, Nietzsche said. This implies a continuous process of self-knowledge and transformation. For Nietzsche, the human being is not a fixed entity, but a project in constant becoming. He dedicated his life to questioning absolute truths and exploring the depths of the human mind. His works reflect an untiring spirit, always seeking to surpass limits and challenge the status quo. In the modern world, this principle is like trying to hear a soft melody amid the deafening noise of a bustling city. Each sound represents an external influence: social media, societal expectations, others' opinions. The constant noise distracts us from our true essence, making it hard to focus on our own growth. This scattered focus prevents us from achieving depth in any area of life, trapping us in a superficiality that leaves us dissatisfied and mediocre. However, when we dedicate ourselves to who we truly are and to developing our potential, we explore aspects of ourselves that others may ignore. As we know ourselves better, our confidence grows and we begin to live more authentically. This allows us to create, think originally, and stand out. Authenticity builds our reputation, and people begin to recognize and value our uniqueness, opening doors to new opportunities. Moreover, trying to please everyone and follow multiple paths without a clear purpose is exhausting. By focusing on our essence, we avoid that exhaustion and keep our energy and enthusiasm high. This helps us make constant progress. With this progress, we rise above mediocrity. Like Nietzsche, we must invest time in knowing ourselves deeply, questioning limiting beliefs and finding ways to express our authenticity. Once we truly understand ourselves, we can then explore new ideas and experiences with a stronger sense of purpose. According to Nietzsche, there are no facts, only interpretations. He emphasized the importance of questioning dogmas and not clinging to absolute truths. For him, the search for truth must be a personal journey, free from external influences and inherited beliefs without critical reflection. His philosophy proposes the free spirit, one who lives beyond conventions and challenges dominant thought. Instead of being guided by fragmented emotions or imposed truths, the individual must develop their own perspective based on experience and reason. Nietzsche believed that true power lies in the ability to create new values and meanings for life, overcoming the limitations imposed by society and tradition. This process of deconstruction and reconstruction is essential to escape mediocrity and achieve an authentic and fulfilling existence. Nietzsche believed that to achieve greatness, whether in philosophy or life, it was essential to cultivate a state of mental clarity where decisions are made with full understanding and without illusions. For him, the mind of the free and strong individual should be beyond fleeting emotions and external influences that could distort their judgment. Imagine a thinker confronted with a challenging new idea. If they are guided by fear or attachment to established dogmas, their mind will close to new possibilities. In contrast, if they act with the mindset of beyond good and evil, one who transcends the limitations imposed by conventional morality, they will be able to explore unknown territories with courage and clarity. Similarly, think of someone deciding between keeping a secure but mediocre job or risking a new journey more aligned with their potential. If fear of uncertainty or the need for social approval influences their choice, they may end up trapped in a conformist existence. Nietzsche teaches us that we must make decisions based on our will to power, the force that drives the individual to grow, overcome themselves, and affirm their existence authentically. To develop this strong and independent mindset, it is fundamental to cultivate habits that strengthen our ability to think and act autonomously. First, it is necessary to practice detachment from inherited beliefs and constantly question the values imposed on us. Next, we must seek continuous self-improvement, challenging ourselves to expand our skills and knowledge. Finally, it is crucial to adopt an active stance toward life, rejecting passivity and embracing experience with intensity. Become who you are, Nietzsche affirms. For him, the strong person is one who remains true to their essence without being corrupted by what is small and mediocre. They reject conformity in the values imposed by traditional morality, as they believe true growth comes from overcoming and confronting challenges. Nietzsche lived a life of seclusion and deep reflection, often far from the distractions of the world. In his search for truth, he rejected superficial comforts and preferred a solitary existence where he could dedicate himself entirely to his thought. He knew that accumulating wealth and living bound by social conventions only weakened the spirit and distanced the individual from their true greatness. Today, maintaining focus is a constant challenge. We are surrounded by distractions, social media, superficial entertainment, the incessant pursuit of external recognition. The consumerist mindset traps us in a cycle of futile desires, diverting us from a higher level of existence. We must reject the easy and comfortable path and embrace the discomfort of growth. Self-discipline, critical thinking, and continuous development are the tools that free us from mediocrity and transform us into authentic and powerful individuals. Nietzsche writes of what is love made? Does it happen beyond good and evil? He recognizes that love and passion are powerful forces, but warns that when not mastered, they can weaken us and distance us from our own journey. Unlike romantics who glorified love as an end in itself, Nietzsche saw relationships as something that should strengthen, not weaken, the individual. If a passion becomes a prison, if blind desire prevents someone from pursuing their own growth, then that love is not liberating. It is a chain. Many sacrifice their dreams in the name of relationships that only keep them trapped in mediocrity. They avoid risks, stop exploring their potential out of fear of losing someone. Nietzsche challenges us to ask, is love pushing us to grow, or is it making us weak and dependent? True love, according to Nietzsche, must be between strong spirits that elevate each other. It cannot be an anchor, but a wind that propels toward greatness. If a relationship prevents someone from becoming who they truly are, then it is better to abandon it. We must therefore cultivate relationships that strengthen us, not imprison us, like a gardener who tends to plants, nurturing only what helps us flourish. With his relentless philosophy, Nietzsche rejected any form of victim mentality. For him, accepting the role of victim was a denial of the will to power, the principle that drives the human being to overcome themselves and affirm their existence with strength and authenticity. Instead of seeking solace in excuses or blaming the world for adversities, he advocated embracing reality with brutal courage, without embellishments, without illusions. He taught us that life is inherently harsh and indifferent. Suffering is not an exception, but an inevitable part of existence. The true challenge is not to avoid pain, but to use it as a tool for growth. For Nietzsche, the noble person is one who transforms every blow of life into an opportunity to strengthen themselves. If you face a setback and lose yourself in complaints, allowing resentment to grow in your heart, you are surrendering to mediocrity. Resentment, moreover, is one of the worst traps of the human mind. It corrodes the soul, turning pain into a vicious cycle of self-pity. Nietzsche believed that resentment was the driving force of the morality of the weak, a morality that seeks to justify powerlessness instead of overcoming it. Accepting reality does not mean resignation. On the contrary, it means looking into the abyss and saying, I am stronger than this. The truly free individual is one who takes full responsibility for their existence without seeking scapegoats. They understand that every failure is a mirror reflecting not the injustices of the world, but their own limitations to be transcended. Do not allow yourself to be a victim. Transform your wounds into wisdom. Each scar should be a symbol of your resilience, not your fragility. The world owes you nothing, but you owe yourself the greatness of not bowing to circumstances. Nietzsche did not speak of honor in the traditional terms of codes of conduct imposed by society. For him, true honor was not in following external rules or obsolete traditions. It was in being true to oneself, living according to one's own law, one's own morality built from direct experience with life. He called this radical authenticity. The noble person, for Nietzsche, does not seek external validation. They create their own values and remain unshakable, even if the entire world considers them a heretic. The philosopher lived this to the end, challenging the conventions of his time, facing isolation and the contempt of academic society because he refused to betray his worldview. In a modern world obsessed with appearances and social approval, this idea is more relevant than ever. How many of us sacrifice our integrity to maintain a facade? How many accept jobs, relationships, and lifestyles they detest just to maintain the superficial honor that pleases others but wounds their own spirit? Nietzsche would say, abandon everything except your essence. True dishonor is not public failure, but the silent betrayal of oneself. The true crime is living a life that is not yours. Honor is the courage to be who you are, even if it means walking alone. It is better to be an authentic outcast than a respectable citizen living a lie. The path to greatness is solitary, arduous, and often misunderstood, but it is the only one worth traveling. So instead of protecting your reputation, protect your soul. Instead of seeking acceptance, seek the truth, your truth, because in the end, it is better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you pretend to be. Nietzsche teaches us that true commitment is not to external promises, but to our own will to power. Being reliable does not mean simply fulfilling tasks or responsibilities assigned by others. It is being true to oneself, to one's essence, to the values one has chosen to live by. True confidence is born when you look in the mirror and know you have not betrayed who you are. Compassion, in Nietzsche's view, is not empty sentimentalism. It is the strength to recognize the humanity in others without losing oneself in weaknesses disguised as virtue. Treating others with justice and dignity is a reflection of inner greatness, not a need for approval. True kindness is born of strength, not lack. Doing the right thing, especially when it is difficult, is the greatest act of power, for the easy is for the weak, and the difficult is the battlefield of the strong. Nietzsche reminds us that excellence is not a destination, but a constant struggle against mediocrity, against conformism, against the temptation to be less than we can be. By refusing to take shortcuts and rejecting the comfort of mediocrity, we become extraordinary. Not by divine blessing, but by the hard work of sculpting ourselves as living works of art. Honor in this context is the unshakable commitment to live authentically, to not bow to the pressures of the world, but to rise above them. If you found value in this philosophical journey, I invite you to explore further. Our playlist is full of ideas that challenge, inspire, and provoke. If the desire to become more than you are today burns within you, subscribe to continue this quest for self-knowledge and true greatness. Thank you for watching. Remember, become who you are. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.